For a very long time, territorial conflicts, geopolitical rivalries, and strategic goals have been the most significant factors contributing to tensions in the Middle East. Amidst a backdrop of age-old conflicts and strategic rivalries, as Israel unveils plans for a monumental $55 billion canal through Gaza, what seismic shift in the Middle East is poised to challenge the status quo of global trade and geopolitical power plays? In this video, we will go deeply into the history, specifics, difficulties, and debates that surround the proposed canal project in Israel. We will investigate the numerous aspects of this groundbreaking venture, ranging from the historical setting of the Suez Canal to the technological complexities of the Israeli undertaking. Additionally, we will investigate the far-reaching consequences that this initiative has had on geopolitics, economics, and security. The Suez Canal. First and foremost, it is essential to have a solid understanding of the historical and economic significance of the Suez Canal in order to fully comprehend the relevance of the planned canal by Israel. Since it was finished in 1869, the Suez Canal has been an essential conduit for international commerce. It was first conceived of as a strategic shortcut between the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea during its construction. Its construction was a demonstration of human intellect and engineering expertise. It also revolutionized maritime transportation by significantly lowering the distances that travelers had to travel between Europe and Asia. Throughout the years, the Suez Canal has developed into one of the busiest waterways in the world. It is responsible for the transportation of millions of tons of cargo each year and makes it possible for commodities to be transported between continents without any interruptions. Because of its advantageous location, it not only connects economies, but also bridges continents, making it an essential component of international trade and maritime logistics. Economic significance of the Suez Canal. It is impossible to exaggerate the economic value that the Suez Canal possesses. Through the provision of a direct passage for maritime boats, it has greatly shortened shipping routes, which has resulted in a reduction in transportation costs and an improvement in the efficiency of production chains across the world. To add insult to injury, the toll earnings that are earned from canal transit fees constitute a considerable source of money for Egypt, contributing billions of dollars yearly to the economy of the country. The relevance of the Suez Canal in terms of strategy goes beyond financial considerations alone. The dynamics of geopolitics, the power conflicts in the region, and international relations are all entwined with its control and management. Any form of disruption or modification to its operations has the potential to ripple throughout global markets, so affecting the prices of energy and commodities, as well as the geopolitical alignments. Origins of the Israeli Canal. Since the 19th century, when British and American engineers were exploring other routes to connect the Mediterranean and Red Seas, the concept of an alternative canal to the Suez Canal has been around. An English naval commander and explorer named William Allen was one of the individuals who advocated for this idea. Allen suggested the establishment of a canal that would connect the Mediterranean Sea, the Dead Sea, and the Red Sea. With that being said, it wasn't until the later half of the 20th century that real considerations for an Israeli canal came into existence. In 1956, in reaction to Egypt's decision to nationalize the Suez Canal, Israel considered the possibility of constructing a parallel waterway as a strategic countermeasure. Amidst geopolitical tensions and aspirations for regional dominance, the plan gained traction and spread throughout the area. Emergence of the Israeli Canal. The disclosure that Israel intended to construct a canal through Gaza took place in 1994, which is a relatively recent revelation. The project was given its name after David Ben-Gurion, the first Prime Minister of Israel. It is also a representation of the nation's aspiration to exert control over vital marine routes and lessen its reliance on waterways that are controlled by neighboring states. Israel made a formal announcement on April 2, 2021, that it intended to begin building on the Ben-Gurion Canal. This announcement marked a critical milestone in Israel's strategic infrastructure development strategy. The proposed canal is intended to accommodate larger vessels that are unable to travel via the Suez Canal due to size limits, and it will be 293 kilometers in length. An enormous technical achievement, the Ben-Gurion Canal necessitated careful planning, cutting-edge technology, and significant financial commitments in order to be constructed. Dredging, excavation, and the creation of navigational channels that are able to accommodate enormous cargo boats are all components of the project, which is anticipated to cost $55 billion. In contrast to the Suez Canal, which primarily permits movement in just one direction, the Israeli Canal is designed to manage traffic in both directions, which is one of the distinguishing characteristics of the Israeli Canal. The Ben Gurion Canal is positioned as a competitive alternative for global shipping routes as a result of its capacity to operate in both directions, which maximizes efficiency and decreases the amount of time it takes to travel. Furthermore, the canal's depth and width are greater than those of its Egyptian counterpart, which makes it possible for larger vessels to sail through it and increases its attraction to international shipping corporations. It is anticipated that Israel will get considerable financial returns from canal tolls and other services, with the projection of an annual income of at least $6 billion once the canal is operating. The Ben Gurion Canal is not only a wonder of engineering, but it also contains cutting-edge surveillance and security systems to ensure the safety of its operations and to keep an eye on the activities that take place in the marine realm in order to protect the canal's integrity and deter any potential dangers that may arise. Israel intends to implement sophisticated monitoring systems. These systems will include satellite imagery, surveillance drones, and underwater sensors. Additionally, in order to restrict unauthorized entry and reduce the potential for security breaches, the construction of the canal will require the installation of a sophisticated security infrastructure. This infrastructure will consist of checkpoints, monitoring stations, and obstacles within the canal. The importance that Israel places on surveillance is a reflection of its dedication to the protection of strategic assets and the maintenance of operational control over vital maritime routes. The Ben Gurion Canal is confronted with a multitude of problems and issues that have the potential to influence its practicality and implementation, despite the fact that it has an ambitious concept and is technologically advanced. The success of the project is contingent on overcoming difficulties of a complex nature and satisfying the interests of stakeholders. These difficulties range from environmental issues to geopolitical ramifications. The complicated terrain that the canal must travel through, which includes rocky landscapes, geological formations, and potential environmental risks, is one of the most significant problems that must be overcome. When excavating a navigable canal through such terrain, it is necessary to implement considerable planning, sophisticated machinery, and mitigation measures in order to reduce the impact on the environment. It is impossible to ignore the geopolitical repercussions that the construction of the canal will have, particularly when considering Israel's relationships with the governments that are located in its immediate vicinity and the other stakeholders in the region. The routing of the canal through Gaza raises problems regarding territorial sovereignty, political stability, and the possibility for conflict escalation. This highlights the necessity of diplomatic involvement and methods for conflict resolution. With regard to the economy, the Ben Gurion Canal holds the potential to bring about enormous benefits for Israel. These benefits include increased maritime trade, the development of new jobs, and the generation of new cash. Israel's goal is to strengthen its economic resilience and strategic autonomy in the face of geopolitical uncertainties. This will be accomplished by diversifying its transportation routes and decreasing its dependency on waterways belonging to other countries. From a strategic standpoint, the canal provides Israel with increased control over vital marine routes and lessens its susceptibility to demands from the outside world, particularly from Arab governments that are located in close proximity to it. Israel intends to protect its national security interests and establish its footprint as a maritime power in the region by avoiding any potential blockades or disruptions that may occur in the Suez Canal. The building of the Ben Gurion Canal is expected to have significant repercussions for the dynamics of the surrounding region, as well as for the patterns of trade that occur on a worldwide scale. Through the provision of an alternate route for maritime transit, the canal has the ability to reconfigure trade flows, supply networks, and economic dependencies, which might potentially alter geopolitical alignments and power structures in the Middle East by providing an alternative path. Furthermore, the canal's proximity to Gaza and the consequences it has for Palestinian areas add a degree of complexity to an issue that is already fraught with controversy. Existing conflicts are made worse by the possibility for populations to be displaced, environmental deterioration, and geopolitical tensions, all of which offer significant difficulties to efforts to build peace in the region. The proposed building of the Ben Gurion Canal through Gaza by Israel, which would cost $55 billion, is a colossal effort that would have major repercussions for the geopolitics of the region, global trade, and security. Despite the fact that the project is expected to bring Israel economic gains and strategic advantages, it also brings up a number of complicated challenges and controversies that call for careful analysis and diplomatic engagement. Not only will the success or failure of the Ben Gurion Canal have a significant impact on the future of maritime transportation, but it will also have an impact on the trajectory of hostilities, talks, and alliances in the Middle East. The situation is being closely monitored by the entire globe. In the midst of geopolitical rivalry and competing interests, the necessity of conversation, cooperation, and conflict resolution becomes more essential than it has ever been before. In the end, the fate of the Ben Gurion Canal is not only dependent on the engineering expertise or financial commitments of those involved, but also on the desire of those involved to traverse difficulties, develop consensus, and forge pathways towards a future that is more sustainable and inclusive for everyone. Thanks, and do subscribe.